Hey, what's up everybody? So we're here just about a year after we sprayed the chemical on the Tree of Heaven. This project was through the NRCS. It was an invasive species tree removal. Tree of Heaven is one of the most invasive species in the world. It was a very popular shade tree that they brought over to the United States, and they were growing it along railroad lines and stuff like that, but it got out of control. We have this project here on our farm where we're trying to reintroduce the native species and step one was to kill all the Tree of Heaven off. That's why we use the chemical. There are some natural ways of dealing with it, but it takes so much work. And since it's such an aggressive tree, it can sprout at the roots when you cut it and sort of clone itself. So we chose to use this very specific hack and squirt method where we were hacking the bark about a year ago and spraying the glyphosate right in the bark. Now we have a very successful death rate amongst the Tree of Heaven. You can see all the dead standing trees in the background. But now our goal is we want to clear some of those out to make way for the new native species that we're planting. All right, so let's take a look at some of the old hack marks where we were hacking before we did the squirting of the chemical. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the tree bark. So you can really see how effective it was, you know, especially when we can get some of those nice slices. And then, you know, again, we were very targeted with making sure that the chemical just was in that lip in the hack. Let's take a look at some of these ones over here. So yeah, you can see, you know, it was very effective at killing these Tree of Heavens. So a couple of these trees, especially the really big one like this one right here, we're gonna leave that for wildlife value because a dead tree does have wildlife value. Birds, especially like hawks and hunters, like to perch on the branches. So this will be a perfect wildlife tree that's kind of right on the wooded area, right on the edge of the wooded area. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that one just as a, what's called a snag, a dead standing tree. All right, so you can see that really just cleared a lot more space, a lot more sunlight to this native evergreen. And we have a few native plants that we're reintroducing to the space. So we got the arborvitaes, the white pines, and we're planting some oak trees and other native Michigan plants. So that's why this is important, is we're clearing the space and getting rid of these invasives and reintroducing the native plants. Heads up. All right, so I just wanted to emphasize one more time that we believe in doing things naturally, and there is a way where you don't necessarily have to use a chemical. For us in this context, it really made sense. This was actually our first time using a chemical on our farm, so we took this very seriously. But for us, it made sense because this wooded area was majority invasive species, and it got to a point where it was so out of control that in order to rebalance it and being realistic about what our capacity is and how much work that we're able to put in terms of rebalancing the ecosystem, that it just didn't make sense to do everything by hand and digging all the stumps out and all that work that would have been involved with it. So for us, this put us on a path to speed us up the process to making this a majority native wooded area again, just as it used to be. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for a lot more videos coming soon.